Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a very chill day in the kitchen, enjoy a little lunch and dinner prep. I am so excited to get started. If you're new here, my name is Nicholsen. I love to share all things homemaking, and I would love it if you would subscribe. And if you're returning, it is so great to see you. Okay, let's jump into this beautiful day. So this morning while I was having my coffee, I was looking up some fun different recipes, and I found something called Italian sushi, and I thought it would be really fun to try to make this. So we're going to give it a whirl, and I also happen to have everything that was required to make it. So we're going to first take a little bit of this plastic wrap and we're going to line it with some prosciutto, and then we are going to put a little bit of Italian salamis on here. I actually ended up using Spanish salamis, so like a chorizo, either or, but they were, oh my gosh, they're so delicious. I recommend putting the, leaving the little paper on here, leaving it there, and then pulling it off once it's on the sheet. Just made it a whole lot easier. A little hack I figured out while doing this. So I'm going to be adding on all of the different meats, and then we're going to be layering on some roasted bell peppers, which I always grab the jars from Trader Joe's. I love making them into like romesco sauces and things like that. And then we're going to put on some delicious little sun-dried tomatoes. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting about this dish is it came with most people put pesto on it, but I decided to do a romesco sauce just because I thought the red would go really well with the bell peppers and give it that kind of tangy brightness. And then anyway, so then we're going to top with burrata, which I was so happy because when I saw this recipe, I changed it up a little bit. Like it didn't call for fresh basil. I added fresh basil and then a little arugula, and then topped it with some burrata. I just happened to have all of these items, so it actually made this very easy to make. Once I was done with that, I topped it with some of this glaze balsamic, which you can get from Trader Joe's as well, with a little salt and pepper, and then we are just going to tightly roll this up. I didn't think it was going to actually fit in here, and it fit perfectly. I just keep smashing it down, and it totally worked. We're going to cut this up, and my husband and I are going to enjoy this at our new table that's outside. I can't wait to share that one with you because it is so beautiful, but we're going to just sit out there, have a nice little meal before I run into the kitchen and get started on all of today's meal prep. We got a lot to do. Now that lunch is done, I am going to get a couple things prepped before I start cooking for the day. So for dinner tonight, I wanted to do a brown butter glazed short ribs. So to get that started, I need to actually get my short ribs in a Dutch oven and get those cooking because it takes about 5 hours, sometimes a little bit longer. But before I do any cooking, I like to clean the kitchen, just get things tidied up. That way, when I'm done cooking, the dishes here will already be cleaned. I can unload them and load up the new dishes. Just keeps everything kind of in rotation, keeps the area clean. So today, my husband was planting all of our hydrangea trees. It's finally kind of in that mid area where frost is probably not going to be something I have to worry too much about right now, maybe a little bit, but I just really wanted to get them in the ground. We did change where they are going, which is really exciting. I will show you all of that in a later video because he was out there doing that. I was going to stay in here and get some cooking done. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab everything I'm going to be using for today's recipes out of the refrigerator. There are a couple items I grabbed out of the refrigerator that I'm not going to be using today, but I just wanted to start Google searching different fun recipes. Oftentimes, like if you are in your refrigerator, this happened to me this weekend actually, where you're in your refrigerator refrigerator and you're like, wow, I have an abundance of blueberries. I don't know why, but I had blueberries and then I went to Costco and I bought a huge thing of blueberries. So I just Google searched like what to do with a bunch of blueberries and found some great fun recipes I'll be sharing later this week. But to get started, I have everything pulled out. I realized that a lot of this needed to be washed because I had just picked it up. So we're going to get the sink emptied, cleaned, and then I'm going to soak all of our fruits and vegetables in here using a little bit of vinegar just to get it nice and clean, and then we're going to start cooking. Tell us in the comments down below, how was your weekend? I missed you guys so much. I hope everybody is enjoying some inkling of spring out there. Tell us where you are and what is the weather like where you are. I had a couple fun things I wanted to do for a little snack today. So I had all this fruit, and you guys know St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and I always love to do things with lots of gold and rainbows. So I had the perfect amount of fruit today, a couple things left over from like breakfast and whatnot during the week. So I really wanted to make some cute things. We're going to be doing some kind of healthier cupcakes, and then I'm going to be making a smashed croissant, which is like life-changing delicious, but I'll share that a little later. So one thing I really needed to get done was get the short ribs going in my Dutch oven. So I'm just going to add in some salt and pepper oil. I'm going to sear those up on all sides. Then I'll go ahead and add some onions, carrots, and celery. I already had all of that prepped in the freezer, which just makes life so much easier to be able to prep that once a month, and as I need them throughout the month, just grab them and use them. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to be adding in some of our chicken stock. I'm going to be using about 6 cups of chicken stock, and then once it's I would say 3/4 of the way done, I'm going to be adding in a bottle of red wine. I just think it gives it such a rich flavor. If you guys want to check out this recipe, I will link it down below. I'm pretty sure I have this in a short form how-to video. If not, I'll see if I can make one at some point because it's really quite easy. To get started, once you have all of your short ribs browned on each side, you're going to add 6 cups of chicken stock, some garlic cloves, and then your celery, onions, and carrots to this. Bring it to a boil. Then we're going to go ahead and drop in the short ribs, and that's it. You just let that sit for about 4 hours here on the stove on a medium heat with the top on. It's really quite simple. We're waiting for that to come to a boil. I wanted to pop outside real quick and grab some herbs that I'm going to add in there. I really needed sage, and I thought I didn't have it, but then this morning when I was downstairs grabbing things for today's cooking, I found a bunch of it, so I was really bummed about that. But I'm going to grab some fresh thyme out of the garden, and then we will just go ahead and throw that right into the pot. We'll remove it later before we go ahead and finish up. But I just find like fresh herbs. I would have done rosemary, but I don't tend to love rosemary. I have like a love-hate relationship with rosemary. Sometimes I can find that rosemary's flavor profile is very overwhelming to a dish. I like it on things like turkey or chicken sometimes, but not a huge rosemary fan. But thyme is lovely, and I also love adding in some oregano. I love adding in some fresh sage, just simple things like that. So now it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got our short ribs ready to go. Those will be ready around 5:30. I want to grab all of this fruit out of here, clean the sink out, and then I want to add my veggies in here. I do have a very fun recipe coming up in the next video, which I will tell you a little bit about later. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these strawberries out, all the blueberries and our blackberries, get everything dried, and then while the vegetables are sitting in here and we've got dinner on the stove, I am going to go for an afternoon walk. It's been one thing as a newly appointed stay-at-home mom I have been wanting to implement in my daily schedule is at least 20 minutes of going for a walk. I am the type of person that once I get started with something, I have a really hard time breaking my focus. So especially in a day where I'm in the kitchen all day, which happens to be the best day, is when I'm not cleaning and not doing all the other stuff. I love just spending a nice calm day homemaking in the kitchen. Food prepping, cooking, baking, you name it, I really enjoy that. While I was at the grocery store, they had a ton of tomatillos and I wanted to make some green salsa. We're going to be doing that in a future recipe, but I wanted to get all the waxy layer off of these. So we're going to let them soak for a little bit. I also have some bell peppers we're going to be doing some fun things with as well that all need to get washed and prepped for a future day. While that was all happening, I wanted to go for a walk. One of the things I've implemented in my new routine as a newly appointed stay-at-home mom is to make sure I get a little bit of exercise every day. I try to work out, but it's not always something that I have time for. I also have a very hard time breaking away when I am focused on something else. And so this particular day, I had 20 minutes where I needed to let these soak to get the wax off. I had dinner on the stove, so I thought, what a perfect time to change, go for a nice walk in the vineyards. We do have some rain coming in a couple days, so I really wanted to get myself up and out of the house before the rain came. So I had a million excuses not to have to go for a walk, but today we didn't have any. So I'm going to take you with me and show you how absolutely beautiful this particular day was. Just love seeing the vineyards transition from dormant winter mode to bud break, and soon these will be completely covered in gorgeous vines. I just can't wait. So for now, I'm going to stay in my workout clothes. I didn't feel a reason to change, and I'm going to start to clean off all of these veggies, and I wanted to make the kids a nice little midday snack since they're home, and I just thought it'd be fun to use some of this fruit for something silly and fun, and I really, really, really wanted to try this smashed waffle croissant. I saw it somewhere and I was like, we got to try this. And since I had my wild grain, I was able to use that. I'm not sure where to get actual croissant. Maybe, I don't know, but that's where I get mine. So that's the ones I'm going to use today. So to get started, I have all of my washed fruit ready to go. I'm just going to chop up all of the fruits I have that will make a rainbow. So I'm going to be using some strawberries, some mango, some cantaloupe, some kiwi, and blueberries to do this. And it turns out super cute, not to mention insanely delicious. I have a bunch of really yummy, delicious, more healthy snacks inspired by St. Patrick's Day here on my channel. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of that. I have a couple more recipes that I'll be sharing probably in my next video that are all vegetable related that turned out really, really yummy. So if you're looking for that type of fun content, the other thing I'm going to do is take my past videos for St. Patrick's Day and put them into one video so you kind of have a quicker clip of just fun ways to decorate, make it really memorable for your children, and obviously share some really yummy recipes because I just love this holiday. It's just so fun and whimsical. So if you like that, hit the subscribe button. The other thing I also have coming up is we have redone our guest bathroom, and I am kind of revamping our primary bedroom. I'm really excited. I'm just waiting for our old bed frame to get here because I want to switch it out from the one we currently have just to warm it up. But we had to, I don't know if you guys, the ones of you who have been here for a while, the TV on the wall has always had the cords hanging down. So we had electrical moved up there. And then also we put the wall in the garage. So much to share with you. That will be in an upcoming video because it just finished yesterday. So I'll be sharing that as well. So the first kind of fun snack I'm going to make with the kids is going to be these cupcakes. I'm going to take all the fruit we have here and I'm going to just dip the frosting into the fruit and we'll make it into a fun little rainbow. I think this is a really fun, creative way to have a somewhat healthy, sugary snack for the kids. I got these cupcakes at Whole Foods. They're the vegan ones. They're so delicious and just the right amount of sugar. We will top this with a little bit of edible gold. I love this stuff. I've used it for years and years. I will have it linked down below. I get it from Amazon and I just love it. There are different forms, but I like this one because it's a dusting and it's not like the thicker gold flakes. I don't care for those as much. I have these cute little St. Patrick's Day cupcake toppers we're just going to stuff in there and I'll decorate the plate and we will eat this together as a family tonight after dinner. And then I'm going to make a little afternoon snack for the kids with the leftover fruit. Now that we have that done, I had some fruit left over, so we are going to make these smashed croissants. This is super easy to make. I'm going to top it with some whipped cream. For the croissants, I'm just going to heat up my waffle maker and add a little bit of sugar to the top, smash that down. Mine has a light that lets you know when it's done, so if you guys want to check this out, it is beyond easy to make and you'll never want to have a croissant any other way. While those are cooking away, I'm just going to do one at a time, but you could probably do two at a time. I'm going to start our smashed potatoes. This is extremely easy to make. We've been eating a lot of mashed potatoes and I wanted to try something a little different. So we're going to do smashed potatoes. I'm just going to be using some of these Yukon Golds. I'm going to cut them into fourths. We're going to roast them in the oven with a little bit of olive oil for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes until they're nice and soft. Then we're going to blend them up with some Parmesan cheese, some garlic salt, and then we are going to bake them again so they get like almost like little smashed potato chips. They're so good and delicious. Okay, so we have our cupcakes done, we have our smashed potatoes cooking, our short ribs are cooking and delicious. They are ready for a little bit of red wine. I usually like to use Zinfandel in here, but I didn't have any. A nice juicy red will go a long way with this recipe. So we're going to add that in, bring it back up to a boil, and then I am going to finish up our croissants. These are so delicious. I'm going to show you a couple different ways we like to enjoy these. You're going to either add some whipped cream to the top. The kids and I did these together. I don't show my kids on my channel, so I didn't film that, but we added these in a little rainbow. And then one of my kids loves Nutella, so we ended up adding some Nutella to this. So good. Whipped cream, Nutella, peanut butter, and bananas. You name it. It's so good. If you want to make that for your kids in the morning, I promise you they're going to go to school with happy bellies. But this is how it all turned out. I just think this is such a cute way to kind of celebrate the St. Patrick's Day and or just a regular old morning breakfast. After we had this nice, delicious afternoon snack, I needed to do a little speed clean. So we are going to get everything cleaned up, surfaces cleaned, all the things put away from the day, and I'm going to start prepping dinner. So tonight we're going to have these brown sugar glazed short ribs over a bed of, I'm going to do a little beet puree. I don't know if you are a beet lover, but I love beets. I just think they're so good. I am more of a savory than sweet person. So things like beets, I tend to gravitate towards. So we're just going to whip that up. I haven't actually made this in a long time, but I was at Trader Joe's and they had pre-made beets there. And I was like, oh, I'm going to make a beet puree. This is so good, so simple. So we're going to do that, but not before we get the house cleaned up, light a couple candles, and just get set for the evening. I thought I'd take this cleaning marathon moment to share a little bit about what I have coming up on my channel this month. I have a couple different resets going on. So my schedule reset, I'm going to be doing more of a kind of new day in the life of kind of how I've been managing my days. I've gotten down to a pretty good routine. I have been finding so much joy and happiness and kind of leaning into things that I have wanted to try and do and learn. So I'll be sharing a lot of that coming up. I have a guest bathroom remodel and restock coming up. I cannot wait to show you. I found a beautiful new vanity that's blue, so we'll be taking a look at that. And then I'm also going to be redoing our bedroom. We're still kind of figuring out paint colors. There's a couple ideas that I'm going to be sharing as well. And then I have a bunch of backyard stuff I want to get done. So I'll be taking you guys along that journey and sharing a couple of those things. I'm not sure if we are ready to redo the bathroom yet, the primary bathroom, but hopefully that happens this year at least. And then I will be showing you the garage because we did finish that project as well. I didn't film it just because there were a lot of people here and I kind of just wanted to preserve their privacy, so I didn't show any of that, but I will show you the before and after. Not to mention we did do a deep organizing in there, so you guys are pretty familiar with how it looked before. Now we just have a wall up there, so all my decor can be stored in that room. I can do crafts in there, and it just makes everything a little bit more organized and easy to find when I want to go do, something special. Right now it's kind of all over the house, so it's nice to kind of have those things all in one place. Now that our potatoes are done, I'm going to throw them in a blender. We're going to blend this up with some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add a little garlic salt in here. You can add fresh garlic. You can add some parsley to this. I kind of try to keep it pretty kid friendly, but if it was for my husband and I would put a bunch of parsley in this. My kids don't tend to like it, so I omitted it from this, but it's very easy to make. We're going to blend all of that up. Skins are fine. You won't even notice them in this dish. And then we are going to put them onto a baking sheet. We're going to bake them for about 15 minutes and then smash them down, flip them over, bake them for like another 5 minutes. That gives it that crunchy, almost like a smashed potato chip. It is so good. And a great side. I thought it'd be really fun with the steak tonight. So we're just going to get that done. And then I'm going to show you how I glaze our short ribs with some brown butter, cook that up. It gets so crunchy and delicious, fall off the bone, melt in your mouth. You're going to love it. Once that's done, we also will just whip up our beet puree, which is so easy to make and really does not only elevate the taste, it elevates the aesthetic of your meal, which I always find to be a little bit fun, a little bit extra, if you will. For our beet puree, I'm going to be adding in about 6 large beets that have already been pre-cooked. I'm going to be adding in some tahini, some cannellini beans, fresh lemon. I added in a little garlic, salt and pepper. That's all it takes. So easy to make, so delicious. I absolutely love this. Again, it's also great on like sourdough. If you want to add that with a little bit of cottage cheese or cream cheese, it's just so good. I noticed we were missing something green on the plate, so I just added some green beans to a pot of boiling water. We're going to throw those on the side. To finish off our short ribs, I'm going to pull them all out of the Dutch oven, and then I'm going to top each one with a little heap of brown sugar, and we're just going to broil this for about 2 minutes, maybe 3. You'll see that the brown butter will completely melt and be crackling on top. Let that sit for a couple minutes before we plate. That way it really sets into the meat. It is so easy and simple and delicious, you guys. This is a really easy meal to make. There is not a lot of prep involved as far as like cooking and stuff. I literally just put it in the oven, threw it into a Dutch oven, and that was it. It was pretty simple, but beyond delicious. And I will say it looks very aesthetically pleasing for a dish. I'm going to get some candles on, turn the fireplace on, maybe have a glass of wine with my husband, and I will show you how everything turns out. Plating this is extremely simple. All we're going to do is add some of that puree to the plate. Our short ribs, I'm going to put some smashed potatoes on the side and some green beans, top it with just a little bit of salt, and voila, you have dinner. We have our cupcakes to enjoy at the end of the day. One of my kids is not a huge fan of meat, so I made them a little plate of the smashed potatoes with a little of that puree to dip into as well, and that was so delicious, so easy, so simple to make. I know it seems like a lot. I always love when the dish looks more like it took more time than it actually did. So this was delicious, simple day in the kitchen. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, I'll see you in the next video real soon. Bye.